Hey everyone, welcome back to the RetroBreak Podcast. This is episode 59, and in today's episode I wanted to talk about my rejuvenated love for the Nintendo 3DS. So, I think I mentioned in the last one that I was going to a bunch of shows. I've been to two of them since then, so I went to the Birmingham Gaming Market, and I've also been to London MCM as well. And on both of those trips, I took my new 3DS with me, and I made sure that I had everything set up properly for StreetPass. And I was amazed that I was actually getting other people on StreetPass as well, and even filling out some of the puzzles that I still had left to find. And for anyone who doesn't know what StreetPass is, it's basically a feature where if two different people walk past each other and you've both got your 3DS on sleep mode, you'll basically exchange Miis with the other person. But along with that, you get to greet them, so they have a custom greeting, you get to find out what game they've been playing most recently, and you also get to collect a puzzle piece off them as well, and you can use these puzzle pieces to build out a 3D diorama basically when you finish the puzzle. And there's a bunch of other 3DS StreetPass games as well. So there was a Haunted Mansion one, which I really enjoyed playing. A lot of these were DLC at the time, so you can't actually buy them anymore. But if you've already got them, then you can continue playing with them as well. There was also StreetPass Quest, which was like a side-scrolling RPG-style game as well, where you can power up your friends, and the more times that you meet someone, the stronger they become, and you can give them different spells and things to go around the dungeons. I used to play it a lot at uni, and I think the 3DS came out at the perfect time for me back then, because I had a bunch of people around me every day who also used StreetPass. So I had like fully superpowered people, and we would exchange puzzle pieces every day. And at this point, I've got over like 5,000 people on my 3DS, and I'm definitely going to take it to Gamescom later on in the year as well and see whether I can pick some up from there. But it really was London MCM that made me realise that it's not as dead as I thought it was. In fact, I ended up picking up over 100 people just over that one weekend, and as I was going around the show, I didn't see anyone playing on the Switch or any modern handheld like that. There was no one playing on the Steam Deck, but I saw maybe 30, 40 different people across the weekend playing on the 3DS, whether they were sat down with friends, whether they were checking their StreetPass, whether they just had it in their hands. There was a few people who came up to the table who had 3DSs with them. And it really doesn't seem like the 3DS is dead at all, which is very surprising for me. And I've actually been getting back into the 3DS as well. I think since the eShop closed and homebrew and hacking the 3DS has become a lot more easy and a lot more commonplace, a lot more people are now realising all the potential of the system. And I've been having a great time with mine again since I decided to take it with me at that Birmingham Gaming Market. And one of the games that I've been playing on there quite a lot recently is Hotel Dusk. I had a bunch of people telling me I really needed to play it because in a few videos now I've said that Another Code 2 Memories, or Trace Memory as it's known in America, is quite possibly my favourite game on the entire DS and 3DS range of consoles, and everyone tells me I need to play Hotel Dusk and I need to play The Last Story as well, which is the sequel. So I'm now halfway through Chapter 3 on Hotel Dusk, and I've been absolutely loving it so far. I don't know why it took me so long to get around to playing it, but I'm so happy that I finally did. And actually, I've got a lot of hotel visits coming up in the next few months, so I'm going to take my 3DS with me and actually play Hotel Dusk in the hotel rooms. I think that is the perfect way to experience the game, and it is just fantastic. The atmosphere is amazing. The puzzles, although fairly simple, do actually make sense, which is kind of a rarity for point-and-click adventure games, annoyingly, so I really have no complaints at all about the game so far. So really enjoying getting back into the 3DS, really enjoying playing Hotel Dusk, and very soon The Last Story as well. And then once I've played through those two, I might end up picking up Sing's other games on the DS, because there were a few other ones that are kind of lesser known titles and maybe not as good commercially and critically, but I'm still really interested to play them as well. So I'll definitely get around to that at some point and maybe make a video about all of Sing's games in the future too. So that is it for the 3DS section. Just bring back StreetPass. Hashtag bring back StreetPass. I was talking with my friend Jack when we were walking back from the Birmingham Gaming Market, and we were saying it's such a shame that the Switch doesn't have any of the fun social features like the 3DS and the Wii U had. And we both basically ended up coming to the conclusion that if Nintendo really wanted to, there was nothing stopping them putting StreetPass on the Switch as well. I think they've just got lazy with the lack of additional software, but what we basically decided was that it would have been really cool if you could actually save your Mii to the Joy-Con itself, and then instead of needing to take the whole console around, which is obviously a lot bigger and a lot more bulky than the 3DS is, you could actually just put the Joy-Con in your pocket and use that for StreetPass. And then when you got back home, you could connect it back to the system and boot up all of the people that you'd passed in the street. Obviously, it's not as convenient as having the entire console in one, and I really do miss the convenience of having a handheld console that you can actually put in your pocket and take around with you. I think the new 3DS, not the XL, the basic new 3DS, the one with the changeable faceplates, is honestly the perfect size for a game console for me personally. It's been really nice having this in my pocket next to my phone, and it's basically the size of an iPhone as well, so it doesn't really feel like you're adding that much. And it's just so cool. And having it modded as well, having access to all of the homebrew apps and like the port of Mario 64 they've put on there, and the ability to load emulators and stuff. There really is an unlimited amount of entertainment on this device now, so I highly recommend, if you've got a 3DS, look into modding it, especially with the new 3DS models. There's some really cool stuff you can do with it, and there's hundreds of videos on YouTube out there explaining it and loads of detail, so it's probably not something that I'm going to cover on the channel, but it's definitely something I recommend if you're into the 3DS, or even if you're not. I recommend getting one, although the prices have gone kind of insane recently. At the Birmingham market, there was a stall with an orange new 3DS XL, which is the same as the one Jack has, and that was like close to £300 now, which is just insane. He picked it up for 90 just a few years ago, so the change in the price for 3DSs over the past few years has skyrocketed. I think since the eShop closed down, since more people have realised the potential of the console, and since it's become easier to mod, everyone seems to want to get their hands on one, so I would say get one now before the prices go even more insane. That is it for the main topic. Let's talk about some of the games that I've been playing. So obviously I already touched on Hotel Dusk, which I have been absolutely loving. As well as that, I've also been playing Pikmin 3 Deluxe on the Switch. That was a game that I'd wanted for a long time, ever since I finished Pikmin 4 when that came out. But for whatever reason, Pikmin 3 Deluxe is always like insane prices. Like, it's more expensive to buy second hand now, back compared to when it was new, when it came out. And it's sold out everywhere as well. So when I was in CEX, I saw it for 30 something, I think, and I thought, screw it, I'm just going to get it, because I really wanted to replay the game for a long time. So I've been playing that in the evenings over the past few days since I finished my Nintendo History series, and I still think it's one of the best games Nintendo's ever made. In fact, I think the Pikmin series as a whole is one of the best things Nintendo's ever made, and I just absolutely love it. Maybe that's a topic for a future video where I can share my love for the Pikmin series, and hopefully it won't take quite as long between Pikmin 3 and 4 as it will until Pikmin 5. So fingers crossed that comes sooner rather than later. Apart from that, I haven't really played anything because I've been so focused on getting these Nintendo history videos out of the way. And the Switch 2 is actually coming out this Thursday, so there's only a few more days to go. And I'm very excited for that. Obviously, I'm getting Mario Kart at launch, but this is also going to be my introduction to the Yakuza series. So I've pre-ordered Yakuza 0, and I'm really curious to try that game out. I have a friend who's obsessed with the series, and I'm honestly surprised it's taken me this long to get into it, but maybe I was just waiting to be able to play it on a Nintendo console, so really excited to check that out. It looks like it's a great port as well, and something really awkward with the Switch 2 as well. I'm sure a lot of you who are listening have already seen the news about the physical versions of the games. So not only do you have regular physical cartridges, you also have something called game keycards, and Yakuza is on a game keycard, but I've been really umming and ahhing whether I should actually go for keycards or whether I should just download the games. But somehow here in the UK, the keycards are actually a lot cheaper than the download codes. So I managed to find Yakuza for 35, I think it was, whereas it will be like 45 or 50 on the eShop. So it makes sense to get the keycard, despite my frustrations with the fact that it's not really a proper physical game. But I honestly think it's as close as we're going to get. And most games these days need a download before you can play them anyway, so it's not the end of the world, although I have been very conflicted about whether I want to go down the keycard route or whether I just want to download the games off the eShop, which is what Nintendo seems to be pushing people to be able to do. But I feel like with my channel as well, if I want to do pickups videos in the future, it's much nicer to be able to show the box and talk about my experiences with the game, rather than just talking out loud with nothing to show for it. So I do feel like I will continue down the physical route while there is still an option, because I feel like in the next generation, the keycards are probably going to go away entirely, and maybe physical along with it. It really depends how many people go down the eShop route. And I know it's not ideal, but if that is the alternative, I think I'm going to have to take the alternative for now until there no longer is one. At least Nintendo's trying to hold on to the physicality very slightly. Same with PlayStation. I mean, a lot of the PlayStation games you buy these days, it's not specifically mentioned on the cover of the box, but a lot of them do need downloads to actually be playable. So you still run into the same issues, like when the server goes away in the future, when you'll be able to play the games that you own or not. I think we're just going to have to sit back and take this as it comes. Like, in the future you won't be able to play anything you own, and that's just how the industry's going, that's how capitalism is going. So it's not really like any individual person can change that. I know people are saying about doing like group not buying games and things, or just refusing to buy keycards, but I don't think companies will look at it like that. And even if you do that group, like if a Facebook or a Reddit group goes out and says we are not buying anything, that's only an extremely small minority of all of the people buying games, and it's never really worked before, and I don't really think it'll work now. So honestly, I'm just going to be happy with what they've offered, despite it not really feeling that great. If that makes any sense at all, let me know your thoughts and opinions as well. If you're listening on Spotify, you can actually send a voice message into the podcast. So it'd be really great to hear some of your thoughts and opinions, and maybe in the next episode I can talk a bit more about game keycards and about physical media, and maybe share some of your thoughts and opinions as well if you send in voice messages. So that'd be pretty cool to kind of get some community input here as well. Now we're moving on to the part of the podcast where I talk about some of the projects that I'm planning to work on in the near future. So obviously I just finished wrapping up my Nintendo History series, and I released the full combined video, which was a nightmare to edit. It was basically too big to fit onto my computer, so I was editing it really slowly off one of my external network attached storage drives, which was just a real pain to edit. So it's a miracle that video even exists. And hopefully it's one that can pick up speed over time, because it did get off to a very bad start, and I lost 3 subscribers instantly because people can't handle the idea of long videos apparently. So hopefully that improves over time. In fact, the Nintendo History series in general has really hurt my channel. Everything's basically halved in the months since I've been uploading them, and this is the worst revenue, the worst subscriber growth that I've had in about 4 years, 5 years maybe. So I really need to try and do something to correct the wrongs of making that, even though I loved making the series. It's incredibly frustrating and incredibly sad to see that people really don't appreciate effort in videos. They just appreciate, I don't even know, ease of watching. I don't know, like, what do people want from videos? What does YouTube want? Apparently they don't want effort. They don't want long, deep, thoughtful videos. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to try and make some quicker, easier to make videos over the next few months, I think, because I do need a break as well. That video was mental to try and make. Literally every single day after work, from the minute I finished work until the minute I went to bed, I was researching, editing, or recording something. So it was honestly insane. So I'm kind of glad that that's behind me. So I'm going to dial it back a bit, I think, and maybe make some less effort videos over the next few months, and we'll see how that goes. You know, maybe I can find a nice balance between the two. I'm also planning to get back into streaming as well, because I put that on hold while I was making these history videos. So hopefully on Tuesday I can be back up and running on stream, and potentially we can finish playing Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1. I think there's only one session left. I'm right near the end of the game now, so join me on Tuesday for that on Twitch. twitch.tv/RetroBreak_live. That'll be really fun. Podcasts, now I've freed up some time, hopefully they can be back on track as well. And recently, I also really enjoyed making a vlog over on my second channel when we went to the Animal Crossing Aquarium Sea Life experience. So check that out on my second channel. The channel's just called Nick Westwood. You can find it on my RetroBreak channel by scrolling down to the bottom and checking out the other channel section. I really enjoyed making that vlog, and it was really relaxing to edit as well. So I really want to do more of those in-person videos as well, whether they're about games or not. So potentially there'll be some more stuff on the second channel, just stuff that I'm randomly interested in, not particularly retro gaming themed. But yeah, really excited to get my camera back out there and do some more stuff. I've got a bunch of shows coming up, as I said, so maybe I'll take the camera to them and do a sort of behind-the-scenes little vlog like I did a few years back with MegaCon. There's one coming up in Birmingham this weekend, so maybe I'll do a video there. And then there's a really interesting one that we're going to up in Newcastle in a few weeks' time as well, which should be fun. So that is it for the projects I'm working on. I kind of don't want to burn myself out, so that's basically what I'm thinking about at the minute. And I'm going to leave this episode of the podcast here for now. Thank you so much for listening, as always. If you haven't checked out my Nintendo History series, please go ahead and check them out. There's a separate playlist just for them, or there is that one combined video that I said, which hopefully will pick up some steam in the future. So thank you all so much for listening. I'm really glad the podcast is back. I really enjoy making this. So let me know what you guys think as well. And as I said, if you're on Spotify, you can send in a voice message. That is all for now, though. Thank you so much for listening. And I guess you will hear me all again very soon. I need to think of a better ending for this. Listen to me again soon. Goodbye.